How the Mighty Have Fallen by Kyle G. Rote. Chapter 1. The Shape of Things. A lone figure scurried across the ocean of trash south of Kalimar, known as the Pits. Insignificant, desperate, hungry. But that hunger proved he was still alive. Thimble shuddered. His skin was tight, painfully aware of the bitter wind from the north. The last remnant of heat departed with the sun. Darkness covered the trash-laden horizon. He shifted his picking stick from one hand to the other. "What might you be hiding?" he whispered, maneuvering its tip to overturn the cracked bowl at his feet. Nothing. Not even a crumb. He'd found nothing for 3 days now. The night before, he had stumbled upon an untarnished cooking pot. When tipped, he had nearly retched at the putrid, sour contents. So this is what his life was now. The dawn had seen to that. He had promised order, and he delivered, an order of structured exploitation and manufactured poverty. The time when a young goblin could make an honest living as a thief in Kalimar had passed. Thimble's time had passed. He was a scavenger now. That was his life. Night was the only time he could go unnoticed. Daylight brought attention. Attention brought trouble. He was technically trespassing, though he didn't see it that way. No one could lay claim to the pits. Many strange folks wandered the pits both day and night. Gangs, vagabonds, criminals, exiles all claimed territory within, though the ground itself belonged to the city. The city overlooked it all. The Dawn only cared that there was a place to dump heap after heap of trash, and to dispose of things no one wanted found. An unnatural dread pulled his mind back to his surroundings. He had a feeling someone, or something, was watching him. He tried to ignore it at first. That was always the best option. But the sensation became so strong that he couldn't help but turn and look. His bat-like ears flicked back and forth, listening for the faintest sound. He scanned the heaps of trash. He had come to rely on instinct. He no longer had the energy for hope, only a gnawing impulse to survive. He saw no heat signature among the cold trash heaps. His vision tightened, shifting back to natural light. The world around him solidified into shapes and shadows. His eyes fixed upon the outline of a cloaked figure perched atop a distant trash hill. 2 white globes, its eyes, floated eerily within the hood, reflecting moonlight. Thimble's claws tightened around his picking stick and sweat prickled across his brow, despite the cold. He thought immediately of the cloaked man he had passed earlier that day. The man had been manically digging in a trash pile, mumbling to himself. What was it? Something along the lines of, "Soon, soon, very soon. Moon, yes, mind the moon." This was definitely the same man, but something about him was different. His gaze was hollow and predatory. It pierced Thimble like a hammer striking glass. For a heartbeat he couldn't move, but he forced his eyes away, taking slow, deliberate breaths. In the pits, looking too long where you shouldn't was the fastest way to get yourself killed. Thimble listened intently for the slightest sign of the man's approach. Now that Thimble knew he was there, any sound of approach would betray him. The silence was absolute. A short distance away, he shot a cautious glance back at the trash heap. The man was gone. As he went on, he struggled to keep his thoughts from spiraling into darker possibilities. Thoughts of the man, along with other strange things he had seen and heard recently, filled his mind. Dark things. Sorcerous things. Many minutes passed, and his attention inevitably drifted back to the hollow ache in his stomach, a constant reminder of his station. He began scanning the trash again for something edible. He thought back to the grand banquets he had attended, some of them in his honor. It felt like another life entirely now, yet he could almost taste the roast fowl, the salmon, the salt, the butter, the warm bread. He stopped. A faint rustling was coming from the trash nearby. He held his picking stick up and moved slowly toward the source. Thimble's eyes dilated, and the world shifted back into heat and cold rather than light and shadow. Something moved within an overturned cooking pot. A small heat signature. It was a rat, a normal-sized one at that. Pit rats grew the size of men in the pits, and they were more vicious than the wild dogs which also roamed the wretched landscape. His heart leapt. Food, he thought. Rats were not the ideal food. They didn't have much meat, and they were often diseased, but Thimble wasn't in a position to reject anything edible. And, he thought, he would at least cook the thing. That's more than most scavengers would bother doing. His mouth watered.